Hi viewers, welcome to another edition of Marriage Clinic Live. How are you today? I remain your host, Marlai Han Oputi. Thank you so much for joining me today. On this edition of Marriage Clinic Live, I would like to say a big thank you to all our viewers, to all our followers on our Facebook group page, to all our new subscribers on our YouTube channel, and to all our fans and followers too on our YouTube channel. I'd like to say thank you. Thank you to each and every one of us, and happy weekend to us all. So today I want us to look at a topic which I have titled "It Can Be Worked On." It can be worked on, yes, and I'm referring to your marriage. It can be worked on. The honest truth is that whatever thing you think you might know, I mean, no matter how intellectual, no matter how wise, spiritual, no matter, how sound you might think you are academically, when it comes to marriage or the concept of marriage, all those things you think might not be sufficient or enough to take you through the journey of marriage. The reason being that, the person you are getting married to is someone that does not have the same background or the same upbringing as you. And because of that, you will have some learning to do on your own. So whatever you think you knew before you got married, may not be enough or sufficient to pull you through the marriage. And that is why marriage is for people who are willing to learn. You are willing to learn the other person. You are willing to know about them, to understand them, and that understanding them, it's a journey, it's a process. It's not something that will happen overnight. And the honest truth is that no matter how long we court or we are in courtship, you cannot know everything or understand everything about your spouse. Yes, you may have some maybe some substantial level of knowledge about them, but it's not always you won't know everything. And that is why marital journey can be very interesting when you have two matured minds in the union who are willing to learn, to unlearn, to take to correction, and to also self correct. When you also have people who can police themselves, yeah, that's the word we use. When you can police yourself, then you will not need another adult to police you, or you will not need somebody else to police you. When you can police yourself to an extent, then it means that you are responsible to a large extent, and you will not go to town or go out there to act irresponsibly or to act carelessly. So like I said earlier, that no matter what you think once you come into marriage, you will have to learn your spouse. You have to learn from them. You have to learn about what they like, what they don't like, study them, understand them to a large extent, such that you both can work together. And like I said, it can be very interesting when you have two adults who are matured and can self-correct. Self-correct means that even without your spouse saying, this is what I don't like, you can observe, you pay attention to detail, you notice that it seems this is a turn off for him or for her, and you quickly self-correct yourself. It's not all the time you wait for others to correct you, and that's one thing that makes marriage interesting, or that makes it a bit easier when you have two adults who takes to correction, who listen to each other. The marital journey will be very easy, unlike having a partner or a spouse that does not listen to you. No matter how much you tell them that, my dear, you see this one, I don't think we should go this way because I don't like it this way. I don't think we should do things this way. No matter how much you try to make them understand, to make them know that this is not good for you, you don't want this route for yourself or for the family, they still can't get it, or they would not even listen to you. Now when it's like that, marriage can be very hard. I mean, it can be very difficult, but it can be interesting when both parties, are willing to listen to each other. They are willing to self-correct. And when you cannot self-correct, when you are being corrected, you should take to correction. When you tell your wife that, I don't think you should be doing this, or I don't think you should be doing that, she should be able to listen to you as an adult and take, to correction. And you as a wife, when you tell your husband as well, men especially, you cannot say, oh, because I'm a man, I won't listen to her. It's for your own good, it's for your own preservation that you also listen to your wife when she's saying, I don't think you should do this, I don't think you should go this route. You listen to her, because that way you are going to be preserving yourself, from a lot of trouble or from a lot of hassles. So when you both listen to each other, it's a lot easier. And that is when marriage, will become easy to work on. It can be worked on, because the truth is that you are not going to have a perfect person given to you for marriage. No. If some people will be given to you in their raw state as a raw material, then you are the one that will work on them and work on them until you will spend a lot of time doing work in progress, until they become a finished product that you can present, as that, beautiful, godly, perfect, virtuous bride that you have always longed for. It's possible that initially when you got married to them, in their crude state, in their raw state. But a good husband will wash the wife. You will clean her up, and a good wife too will do it, will sharpen her husband. Iron sharpeneth iron. I always tell people, marriage is not one way. As your husband is pulling his weight and trying to do his bit, you as the woman, you also equally have to pull your weight and do your bit. You are not a piece of furniture, or you are not like a Barbie or a dummy that, or a robot that, one will be remote controlling you to say, oh, just stay here. You also have a mind. As a matter of fact, many women to this day, we go to school, we are educated, we are intellectual, we are also spiritual being. Like, we can think, we can foresee, we have intuition, we can also contribute, we have solution to provide. So you cannot say, oh, because I'm woman, I'm feminine, I'm female, then I have nothing to offer. You have a lot to offer to your husband and to your wife. And that is why I said marriage can be worked on. So if there is anything you notice in your spouse that you do not like, the first thing you should tell yourself is that this can be worked on. This can be worked on. This can be worked on. Yes, it can be worked on. It's not the time for you to throw in the towel or give up easily and say, oh, she doesn't like to communicate. So because she doesn't like to communicate, you equally, will snub her. You will keep malice with her for 2 years under the same roof. A lady was discussing with me, was in on last week, and she was talking about how she and her husband lived under the same roof for 2 years, and both of them were keeping malice. And it sounded impossible in my ears, like it's not possible. You mean for 2 years, or you meant for 2 days? She said 2 years. They were both living in the same house, but they were keeping malice. They were not talking, and I'm like, no, that is a serious marital breakdown situation. The marriage has broken down, and eventually it actually broke down, because that's too much. So you don't have to wait until all these things, accumulate, and there is a big breakdown that things cannot be put together again. You don't wait until things fall apart. And that is why, every day, make sure you are paying attention. You are paying attention to details. You are listening to your spouse. even their body language, you are checking it out, because it's not all the time you will use the whole mouth to say some things. At times, your eyes could speak to them, your body could speak to them. So if you are not paying attention, you will not understand that, oh, that frown on her face is to tell you that she is not consenting to such thing, or she detests such a thing, even though maybe she doesn't want to say it. And when he's also like quiet, you may want to ask yourself, okay, so why is he quiet? What is wrong this time around? And you may want to understand, okay, so why is he unnecessarily quiet? Because on a good day is not quiet or into himself. So it takes someone who is observant, who pays attention to details, and who is inquisitive to really find out these things. So don't wait until things fall apart. Whenever anything happens, tell yourself, or you notice something you don't like, tell yourself, this can be worked on. Yes, this can be worked on. We can work on this. When you are willing to work on it, and your spouse is also willing to work on it, and you are willing to take to correction, or you are willing to self-correct, then I tell you, it will be a lot easier. But when you are willing to self-correct, or you are willing to take to correction, but they are not ready to take to correction, or they are not ready to self-correct, or they are not even ready to listen to you in the first place, to listen to your complaint, that is where things get complicated. And that is why, see, husband and wife, you cannot function well when you both are not communicating effectively, when there is no open communication between both parties. There has to be that open communication. It can be worked on. It can be worked on means you guys should advise me to work on it. My wife is not good enough, in the kitchen. It can be worked on. Hey, my husband, is not good enough on the bed. It can be worked on. Is not good with communication, or she's not good with communication. It can be worked on. And this working on it will also require you equally helping them, to work it out. If you have, tips, suggestion on how you think they can work their own parts, they can work out their own part, of the problem, you can suggest it to them that I think we should do it like this. I think we should do it this way. That's why two heads are better than one. And two adults, when we reason together, we should be able to deliberate and come up with good solution. And even when you cannot come up with good solution, there are books, there are forums like this that can help you to learn. So what can I do to address this issue, to solve this issue? Whenever there is a problem, tell yourself, this can be worked on. This can be worked on, and devise means to work on it, rather than you going to town, withdrawing, or doing things that will make the matter worse. You don't want the matter to get worse, and you don't want to wait for the hard knocks of life to teach you to correct yourself, or to teach you to make changes, or to make amendment. Because some of us, they will be telling us, amicably, that this thing you are doing is not good, drop it. I don't think this will be healthy for our home, or for our family, or for our children. You need to get rid of this thing. You will not listen. So it is when something tragic happens, that's when you wake up. But we don't need to wait as adults for anything tragic or dramatic to happen before we wake up to the realities of life. We need to really wake up and understand that life is about actions and consequences. Everything we do in life has a consequence, and it's like sowing and reaping. When you are sowing evil, doing bad things, even to your spouse, it's only a matter of time. You will reap it. You may not reap it from them, but when something happens to you, you ask God, Lord, who have I offended? You don't want it to get to that. And that is why we need to take to correction. And don't take your spouse for granted. Some of us, we take our spouse for granted. It's actually easy to take your spouse for granted, but one of the ways to help you not to take them for granted is to develop some habits, daily habits that will help you not to take them for granted. So for example, every day, make it a culture to greet each other, maybe with a hug, with a peck, with a kiss. Make it a culture to always say thank you when they do anything for you. Even when they give a helping hand in there, tell them thank you. Make it a culture, to appreciate them, to maybe touch, hold, rub the back. Make it a culture, even if it's not daily, weekly. Make sure no week passes that you guys will not hug, you guys will not hold and sit down, talk. Always have time, no matter how little, for your spouse to pay attention to what they are saying, what they are not saying, what they are frowning at, what they are not frowning at. What they are doing as well. Pay attention to what they are doing, because see, some people, what your spouse is doing behind you, if God opens your eyes to see it, you will be amazed. And that is why we cannot afford, to live as if we are singles. You have to be accountable. You have to be accountable. All these husband that turns their wife to detective. You married a wife and overnight she turned to detective, trying to sniff out information, trying to monitor you. Or husband turned to detective, suspecting the wife. All these things are not healthy for marriage, but something must have led to it. We need to desist from things that can create suspicion. We have to desist from things that can make the other party uncomfortable, or for them to start thinking, what is going on? Is it that there are strange women out there contesting for your spouse's attention as well, or something like that? Strange men or strange women. You don't want that thought to be going through the mind of your wife. And the truth is that the blessings of God will not come into your home where there is so much toxicity, where there is so much bitterness, where there is so much suspicion, distrust, where there is negative vibes and negative energies flowing in that home, in that marriage. I tell you, the blessings of God cannot come there. If you want to attract the blessings of God, make sure the atmosphere is pure, your own heart is pure, your actions out there is pure. Don't go to town and be doing something bad that can attract causes or bring problems to your home. Be careful what you do, because it's not just about you. Anything you go and do out there, if you get into trouble, that trouble will equally affect your spouse at home and your children at home. So you have to think responsibly, you have to act responsibly. And that is why we tell ourselves, you need to be your own police. You need to learn how to police yourself. Me and my husband, we tell ourselves that, be your own police, so that when you see police out there, you are not scared. Why? Because you are your own police. You tell yourself, I don't break rules and regulations. I do things the right way. Whoever is not pleased with that should give you way. Why? Because you are the police of yourself, first of all, as an adult. And that's why they teach us values, because it is those values that will help you to know what is right and what is wrong, what you can do and what you cannot do. There are some things, no matter how much you put pressure on me, I will not do it. Why? Because I know the implication, I know the consequences, and I am not ready for any negative exposure in any way, not even in the name of religion, in the name of marriage or anything. So please, let's do things right. Let the fear of God be the foundation of our lives in anything we do. Let us fear God in all that we do, in even how we relate with our spouse, with our children. Let us be aware that this these people are also human beings. They carry the Spirit of God on their inside. So how you treat them, it matters. They are human life. So you treat them well. You treat them as God expects you to treat human beings. Don't take them for granted and say, after all, they are my children. I can treat them anywhere. After all, he's my wife. I can treat her anywhere. After all, he's my husband. I can treat him anywhere. It's not like that. So please, let's try to work on things rather than giving up and running off immediately. Why? Because anything that would grow, anything that will become successful, it takes time. It takes time, it takes patience to nourish, to grow it, to nurture it. And marriage is work. You will work on a lot of things before you start seeing it working. Don't think it will work itself automatically. My husband always tells me that, see, if he does not do his part of the work, that I should not think that things will work. And that is the honest truth. If he doesn't do his part, the marriage will not work. And the honest truth is that if I don't also do my own part, this marriage will not work. So you have to make it work. Do your own part to make it work. As he is doing his own part to make it work, you as a woman, you have to do your own part to make it work. So why not make it work? Making it work, it lies in your hand. The responsibility of making it work lies in your hand. Do it. And the remaining, you hand it over to God. God knows what to do to perfect it all. I would like to stop here now. I hope I've said a lot. Please, let's continue to follow us on Marriage Clinic TV. We have so many interesting, exciting, educative content on this channel that you can learn from on different topics that affect life, marriage, relationship. I'm so much interested in helping people, resolve their marital problem, relationship problem, even their life problem. We will give you insight as to what to do, or we will even help you to clarify where the issues might be coming from. So remember to leave us a like, leave us a comment, let us know your thoughts on this topic, and please do share the video with others whom you think may also learn from this. So I remain your host, Marla Hano. Till we meet again, I say
Marriage Clinic TV.